for the resources across the sectors and at different scales. As can be seen here, like we see like the triangle, the water, energy, and food. And here, as you see, the three sectors are connected together. Like water is needed for food, and here I'm meaning by food is the agriculture activities, and it could be like as well the food production. And food is there is a link between food and water, which is the let's say the virtual water. Water and energy. Water is needed to generate energy. Energy is needed for lifting water, for desalination, a lot of processes of water as well. Energy and food as well. Energy is needed for food production, and food in some countries is being used as an energy resources. So this what we mean by interconnected. Why while you are managing a sector, you should take externalities and other factors into consideration. No more like just think separately or just isolated from other sectors. So the goal is not to destroy, let's say, entities' autonomy, but rather to eliminate the issues that caused conflicting priorities between the sectors, lack of information flow between the sectors, as well the duplication of efforts and the resources. So why Nexus approach is important? According to scholars and researchers and some agencies now been taking this approach forward, it's help in resource use efficiency and create a greater policy coherence, as well address the externalities across sectors and build synergies to improve the governance across the sectors. So to start here at the Arab region, I'm considering the 22 countries, the member states of the Arab League. The area is of the Arab region 10% of the world. Population in 2012 reached almost 360 million, and it is expected to reach 600 million in 2050. Urbanization is increasing from almost 60% in 2012 to almost 70% in 2050. So more population, more urbanization means more consumption and demand for the three sectors. So what is the water limit in the region? Like most of the region, like reaching the physical water scarcity. As well, in terms of energy, the region has 2/3 or 66% of the world proven oil reserve. It has as well up to 40% of the world proven natural gas reserve. So, but the issue of let's say availability, it is not. It's not harmonized. Like there is a diversity in the distribution. We could see like some energy-rich countries. Like Gulf states, they are more in water, but they can manage because they have the oil and gas, and they can do the desalination. However, for example, Jordan is more energy and more water. Other countries like energy-rich, like Syria, and water-rich. So there is a huge diversity in the region. Somehow it might be a challenge, but we will, for us, we consider it is an opportunity as well. In terms of the food and physical limits, the region imports 50% of its food. It's the most, let's say, vulnerable region in terms of the importing food. And it has the physical vulnerability as well. So here we can say, or we can see, like, if we take here the cereal importing, and here the physical, we could see, for example, Jordan, it's most vulnerable in terms of the physical, financial resources, and in terms of the food production. As well, like, for example, we mentioned before, as well, Gulf states, they are dependent, but physically sound. So, as well, here is some diversification. This is another map, shows like almost 60% of the Arab, let's say, net cereal is imported, and this is the highest between like on a global level. And in terms of climate change, most of the region range between low to medium risk to high risk, and specifically the coastal zone is in extreme risk. So all of that as natural resources availability. So how about the governance in the region? So it's a centralized management resulted in weak local governments, as well as supply-oriented in terms of policies, and demand policies addressed independently. Limited coordination between sectors and policies. Climate change policies, if exist, still at national level. Limited engagement of local governments in policy dialogue, as well limited public participation in national policy dialogue. Those are the, let's say, what is the current situation. If we consider the LAS or the League of Arab States as the highest institution in terms of level to coordinate the three sectors at the regional level. I'm now cited a recent study done by GIZ and LAS about institutionalizing the WEF nexus in LAS, and some of the conclusion, they came up like policies agreed on regional level are hardly put into practice on the national level. It's like after being agreed or approved, it's still at the regional level. So how can those, or does those policies came to the national level? I doubt is taken to national level. Supply-oriented policy, like most policies, it's supply-oriented. Agriculture sector less integrated into cooperation activities than water and energy. Current level of coordination is not sufficient for a regional approach of the adoption of the water, energy, and food nexus, and lack of LAS decision monitoring system. So this is at the regional level. However, there is a various opportunity of cooperation across the region. If we consider the region as a one unit, there is a huge cooperation and collaboration and potential for that. Some countries are rich in water, other in food, other in energy, a huge potential for renewable energy. So there is a huge potential for collaboration. So at regional level, is it a limit of resources, or is it a governance? It is for us, we consider it as a limit of governance, because if we consider the region as one unit, it is the issue of governance. So let's see what about Jordan at the national level. Population in 2014, it reached like 6 million and a half, and I cited here from the Department of Statistics, because lately we've been hearing a lot of different population statistics and numbers. So I'm considering in terms of 2030 is going to reach like 9 million. In 2015, 11 and a half. Urbanization nowadays is 83%. And from the map you can see like most of the people are in the northern part. Like a pressure on infrastructure, on let's say land uses, and like let's say the impact is really high in the northern part. So what is the WEF resources limits in Jordan? At the supply side, 97% of total primary energy supply imported. Water per capita 130 million cubic meter. This is back to 2012. Agriculture consumes 64% of annual water use. As well, Jordan is a food deficit country, like 85 to 90% of its food is imported. How about the demand? Like there is a low efficiency if we are talking about the three sectors. Population growth is a challenge as well. Urbanization is a challenge. The socio-economic development is a challenge. So supply side, we might not be able to do something, but there is a huge potential at the demand side. So here in Jordan, the water scarcity, Jordan is both low of water resources and per capita and low water productivity. As you can see there in the corner, where is the low water productivity, low water resources per capita. Energy insecurity, Jordan is the only country in the MENA region that is both net importer of energy and below average energy efficiency. So there is a huge potential in the demand side and the efficiency. As you can see in the red cycle, Jordan as well, net energy importer, and there is an issue of the efficiency. So how about the linkages between water and energy in Jordan? Water and energy for Jordan is required for pumping groundwater, treating wastewater, desalination, and conveying and lifting. However, water is needed if Jordan is moving with uranium and oil shale. And here there is an issue in that resources. So water energy interconnectedness is in securing energy for water to meet the increase of water needs and the demand, but there is a huge opportunity in renewable energy in Jordan. So what about the water food? Water food, in terms of, if we are talking about irrigation, food production in Jordan is hardly possible without irrigation. Jordan's irrigated agriculture consumes 64% of the annual water used in 2007. Jordan importing 5 to 7 billion cubic meter of water in virtual form. As well, water-food interconnectedness is complex. Water scarcity, an issue. Land uses, climate change. Those are external factors, should be considered socioeconomic. The issue of a trade, the virtual water, but there is huge opportunities in terms of efficiency, crop patterns, and there is different as well options. So what about the future development scenarios? Jordan's future development scenarios and policies will differently reshape the equation between water, energy, and food. For example, if the energy policy adopted and move ahead with developing conventional energy resources like oil, shale, and nuclear, this means there should be like a conflict between the other sectors in terms of water allocation and availability. As well, if water policy developed unconventional water resources, desalination, treated wastewater, fossil water, carbon water irrigation, those are like desalination is an energy intensive process. So here just a dialogue where, or a table where if we take, like, for example, I'm going to just go through the nuclear, if Jordan move ahead with nuclear, the rationale of this policy to energy security and energy, clean energy. However, what is the impact on water security? It's going to be negative in terms of the water. It's a water-intense resource in terms of water population. So how about the energy security? It's more like positive, reduce dependency on fossil fuel, clean energy alternative, lower transportation costs. So how about the food? Drives up the food prices, increase the pressure on resources, reduce food production, reduce food consumption, and this would lead to food malnutrition. So if we, like decision maker, when they are designing a policy, they should take other sectors into consideration. Silo no more an option to be considered while looking into the sector. How about the governance in Jordan? We have, in terms of institutional and national policies and strategies, we have like 4 ministries. If we consider the climate change as a sector, we have Ministry of Water, the latest or the updated strategy back in 2012. Energy back to 27 is outdated. Ministry of Agriculture, the strategy back to 2009, and Ministry of Environment, just a recent policy. So we have different institutions. Managing of resources in Jordan has been centralized, supply-oriented, incoherent policies. Consumption and demand policies have been addressed independently. Planning is done mostly through vertical lines with top-down control and centralized budget, case-by-case coordination committees and mechanism, and limited engagement of local government, municipalities in policy dialogue. So just quickly to Amman. Done? Just okay. So in terms of Amman, This is the third level. We are talking about like this is the map of Amman and the population. They are increasing. Here, what is the local government in Jordan? Municipalities in Jordan are like defined as a local institution vested with financial and administrative independence. This is according to the Jordan's law of municipality, supervised by Ministry of Municipal Affairs except GAM or Greater Amman. There is no hierarchical relationship between municipalities and other government institutions. The municipalities have limited influence on political issues. They are more service-oriented tasks, and central government does not allow municipality to intervene in political debates. However, in terms of the resources, and this is the most important slide, I'm going to just focus. The water, if we consider this is the map of Amman, you can see like most of the resources of Amman is coming out of the Amman. It's more like external resources, and it reached like almost 16% of the Jordan water resources. How about food or urban agriculture? The total planted area is around 32,000 hectares, mainly rain-fed agriculture. Most food is external or imported. So energy, mainly conventional, external sources, and high demand, and there is a low efficiency. So might be like a Greater Amman municipality, they can't limit or they have a limited role in the resources supply side, but however, they have a significant role in demand. So I will skip that one, but it's very important to mention that in terms of at the GAM, there is a national policies. It is still centralized, incoherent, supply-oriented, limited integration, and horizontally and vertically still not well coordinated. As well, the WEF initiatives based on case-by-case, the coordination, various implementing institution within Amman, like JEPCO is coordinate, like responsible about electricity, Miyahuna about the water, and GAM implementing some activities, other ministries as well. So limited investment to reduce demand and energy efficiency, and limited public participation in decision-making process. And the issue here is the user practices or the social dimension is limited integrated into policies. This required urban nexus, which is to increase the institutional performance and optimize the resource management. And here the last slide, why should like localizing the action? Because cities are important actors and a space for population and economic activities. Cities are responsible for major consumption of water, energy, and food, and they have the highest potential opportunities in energy efficiency, water conservation, reduce wasting food and water harvesting, grey water, etc. Cities vulnerable to climate change. So that's why, like, without localizing action, it would be at the still national level and would be an issue for the coming future. So thank you so much, and I would just acknowledge the support of Afghanistan.
Thank you very much, Maha Zobi, for this very interesting new approach to not manage only water but also energy and food security at the same time. Challenging. There's actually also another challenge, that is the food security challenge here at this conference, and I was just informed that the lunch is already opened, and I don't want you just to get the leftovers, so I think we should shift the questions to the, let's say, direct interaction with Maha.
Yeah.
No problem. If you all agree, and well, I'm sure there are a lot of questions, but sorry for that. It's a little bit the inconvenience of this time schedule. There are a lot of interesting, let's say, I think, results from this kind of approach, I'm sure. We are still at the beginning of converting this Nexus approach really to a manageable, let's say, even governance-oriented concept. Well, thank you very much for this participation, for the questions, especially to the speakers. Thank you very much for the very good presentations. And I'm looking forward to, well, if you're interested, as I said, there is a session on capacity development in Jordan at 4 o'clock. If you're interested, please approach me. We should inform you where that happens. Other than that, Have a nice day, and let us have a good conference together here. Thank you. Sorry for that.